Hey, it's time to show you how you are to massage your forearms because it's important to do. You're gonna have golfer's elbow and tennis elbow throughout your bodybuilding career. It's just a natural thing when you are adapting to harder workouts. Your body's gonna be a crybaby. Let's take care of those spots. So, wrist extensor group on the top hand and flexors on the other hand, on the other side. And the flexors are naturally gonna be much stronger than the wrist extensor muscles. So usually people don't have the developed muscles here because we don't train forearms unless you want to have super strong, sexy looking forearms, which I wanted. And you know what got me hooked on forearms? Well, I was a blackjack dealer when I was very young. I was working the casinos all night long and I was very sweaty and hot and smoky. So I rolled up my sleeves up to here while I was dealing the cards, and the the casino sharks, they say, hey, you're strong. Ooh. So I realized that they respected me as a woman because I had the strength of the forearms. That's when I can get a respect from the world by simply showing that I got strength. So anyway, that's how I got hooked on that. And there are two kinds of typical IDs that you're gonna learn. Epicondylitis, lateral epicondylitis means on the outside, and medial epicondylitis on the inside. And the medial epicondylitis is also called golfer's elbow, has nothing to do with golf. And on the outside is usually called tennis elbow. It has nothing to do with tennis. Those sports are usually where you get it more, I guess, tennis and golf. All right, so on this spot here, you're gonna feel a lot of pain on the outside, and that is a tendon insertion. So what you do there is that there are many different tools you can go about, but the whole principle is to dig into where the area usually has irritation. And that's gonna be right on here. So now when you go in here and you kind of put pressure into it, and you can have your hand like this, something pointy, it can be your thumb, you can do this, but if you're not strong, you don't know where to go, you're gonna kind of play around here, finger around, and you don't know what am I supposed to feel, anything. So remember that you have to find the spot, just like you find the clitoris, you can't just go all over, right? You have to find the spot. And then, well, we know the clitoris is like a whole nerve, it's much bigger, but that has nothing to do with this. So here is the area to focus on for the pain here usually that you need. Tennis elbow. So you go in here and you keep on going back and forth, this area here, and when you feel something is really painful, you keep hovering around there for 30 seconds or so. And you can find spots all over through the muscle belly and the tendon, so you keep on working it. So you can work your whole forearm. If you know anatomy, you can go to study your anatomy of the books, and you can see the insertion, and you can see where the tendon is and origin, and then you notice that usually a lot of trigger points is in the belly, mid-belly, and also in the kind of the end of the, here where it's more tendons. So the itis means inflammation, and I know everyone believes that the trick is to use anti-inflammatories. No, not in bodybuilding, because bodybuilding requires you to have inflammation acute after training, and reducing inflammation is actually not what you should do because you need the inflammation. And you're also not gonna get away from this by taking a medication when you need to work it. So this is the massage you do. You work it like this in this place, on this area, right outside the elbow, and you can go it in different way. You can lean on it, you can roll on it. There's so many different ways, but the whole principle, get in here and dig in. You can use your elbow too if you get into the right position, or put, like that to strength. The second side, you're gonna find a lot of tightness in this area here, like lower down. On this side here, you're gonna notice that this muscle can be really painful and tight. So this one here, put the thumb into it, like that. And you can also do it here. It's very good to have cream. And the more pointy, I love my wood sticks because they get the job done with like piercing really straight into it instead of just putting pressure. So sometimes I've had massages that are like big good dudes because they have a lot of weight, which is great for me who needs a lot of pressure, but then they just don't have no technique. So they kind of just lean all over. I'm like, that doesn't do anything for me. I just have to resist you. So remember that it's much better to know exactly, to go pinpoint right into the spot and use your strength that way. That's how I fell in love with all these super strong but tiny Thai people, because they know how to use their strength. And I know too, because I've been training, stretching and working this way on NHL players back when I was in pro camp and as a trainer. Like I'm being, you go under another professional trainer and study with them, you know. So anyway, I was on the floor with that. So here, and then also on the other side, more on the elbow, you're gonna go here and flex your hand, and then go all the way down through that muscle belly, all the way down to your here, where you're gonna feel that golfer's elbow, the inflammation. So what I like to do is with cream to scrape up like that to kind of reduce tension and kind of have the whole fascia that runs through the whole muscle to kind of loosen up. So this is something that you don't do one time and then think it's gonna be solved. Nothing in your body is gonna be like that. It's gonna be more of having a garden. So it's gonna be always having work. Just like you're a farmer, it's always gonna be a pig that needs help. So this is something that comes and goes, and also in order to reduce this from coming, you have to train the wrist extensions and do the dead hand grip, and to work your flexors and to stretch it out. So how do you stretch it out then? Well, forearms, I like to do this for my wrist extensions, like that. And then on the other side, we do this, like that. And you can do a pull on the thumb. And again, this is something you have to do regularly. Stretching is like fresh produce. It stops being fresh and goes stale and stiff and dies if you don't take care of it, just like the rest of the body. It's not a still life. It will die with you as you die. But until then, you should have a body that is as alive as possible, because a lot of people tend to stop living before they're dead. They're not in the grave yet. All right, so wrist extensions is a bread and butter thing that you just need. It's just like having a car. You need to have the proper tires, and the tires will wear out and you need new ones. So the forearms, since you're gripping with your hands all the time, you have to remember that you're naturally going to be weaker in the extensor muscles, hence why you have to work hard on those, and why the flexor muscles are going to be over-dominating, and that's why you don't have to spend that much time on training them. Every time you grip something, you work in the flexors. Every time the extensors have to hold to resist, to antagonize the pull on the flexor muscles. So what you will see here is you're gonna get scrape marks, you're gonna get bruises, and you're not gonna die from that. So that's nothing, and it's not, oh my God. Some people will think that you're in abusive relationships, so you have to tell them, yeah, no, I'm not abused at home, I'm fine, I'm just doing this to myself. They're like, wait, well, you gotta have strong forearms. So anyway, get in there and work on it, and remember that the anti-inflammatory or the inflammation that everyone is talking about is not it's not bad. It's that you have to understand how the body adapts. So right after training, you are supposed to be pro-inflammatory in order to recover. You need to have higher cortisol that helps you reduce inflammation, and it's what comes there after your workout. So, but the NSAIDs or the ibuprofen, all that mask pain is not gonna fix this ever, because this is not a wrong kind of inflammation thing. This is wear and tear that your body doesn't, it's gonna break apart unless you do something about it. All right, I hope that helps.